This computer. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Still? Yeah, okay. Okay. We're live. We're live. All right. And so you sign your emails as Benjamin, but you go by Ben, right? Or do you go by Benjamin?
I go by Ben. Right. Like only my mother calls me Benjamin.
Okay, well, but so sometimes you sign like your email, like I think your Google Workspace or whatever, like says Benjamin. So sometimes I'm emailing you and I'm like, "Hi, Benjamin. Like I would just like to let you know about this new button." And then I feel bad because you signed the email as Ben.
No, it feels very professional. I feel like respected when I get the Benjamin.
Respected when it's Benjamin.
Yeah. No, like I said, it's like it's my formal name.
Okay, well, this is Benjamin here. So this is the second of our we don't know what to call the YouTube series. Teacher testimonials or something. That's alliterative, but we need some better name for it. I don't know what we're gonna do, but
Right.
do you have any ideas what we call the series?
Uh Jeez.
Putting
Picking
you in the
brains with pick
spot.
code.
Say it
I don't
again.
know. Picking brains with pick code.
No, I wish I hadn't called it Pickcode. That's the worst. It's so hard to say, and like if you meet people in person and say that's what it is, they're like, what did you like? Can you say that again? And then I have to like show them like a picture of the word. Um,
So
it-
why is it called pick code? I've wondered this.
okay, well, so do you know, have you ever been in the menus in one of the programming languages that's available as Pickcode VL? Okay,
Never
well,
else. Yeah.
I was teaching ninth graders, and we did a unit on block coding in App Inventor, and then we did a unit on Python. And I was like, I didn't like teaching block coding to ninth graders. They had already done Scratch. They kind of were bored by block coding. I was like, we need something more difficult than block coding and less difficult than Python. So like I made this, it's still part of Pickcode. It's still in there. But like Pickcode, the website was Pickcode, the programming language and environment for like 2 years. Um, and so you can try it out sometime. You can go in there and we have lessons about it and all this stuff, but like you click through and pick the code. Um,
Oh gosh. Now it all makes sense. That's great for that.
I guess so. I don't know, but like it's most people, 99.9% of people want to code in Python or do web development. And we'll talk about how you use Pickcode in a second. But so people aren't, it's not that easy to make a bunch of people use a new programming language and environment, right? Like I'm not like Scratch has MIT and like App Inventor's MIT. I don't work at MIT, right? Like it's me and the dogs in the background kind of blurred out. So yeah, we weren't really able to get that off the ground too much, but that's why it's called Pickcode.
You got it. Well, I mean, you are filling a space that doesn't really exist, right? Between block and like fully blown language.
In
I,
that situation, yeah. But I mean, 99% of what we do now is helping teachers like you. And so maybe you can introduce like what kind of you use us for, I know you use us for web dev, but like what kind of courses do you run on Pickcode and like how do you use it?
well, similarly, like, I would like ninth grade is an interesting year, right? Because you're not really fully up for or even interested in like the really like in-depth coding stuff. Like, it's like making an app that tracks your like a fitness app or something wouldn't be like a ninth grade's like ideal thing.
Yeah.
But also block code's a little bit kiddish, right? Like you
Yeah.
don't need to have like a but so I teach, I think a lot of people arrive there doing P5JS.
Okay, okay. So you okay, you use P5JS. Interesting. All
So
right.
that's one of the ninth grade course, right? And they have the P5 web editor, which is imperfect in its own kind of ways
Oh, so you use the P5 one, not ours.
for the ninth grade course, right?
Got it. Okay. For what it's worth, you can do P5JS in Pickcode, but that's not here nor there.
Totally. I mean, I found out about so I was trying to go with a free platform. Like, so the whole reason I ended up at Pickcode, I'll just
Well, that's
reiterate,
what that was my next question. So yeah, it's a perfect transition. Yeah.
was that so for, I used REPL last year for education, which was like ideal. It was like a robust coding platform. The one thing I hated last year was that they integrated AI, and it took me like, I remember in April, I saw kids' grades were insanely high. I was like, everyone's nailing it. And then one kid like was like, "Oh yeah, just autofills the code it." Like it took me 3 months to realize that. Because it's a course that starts in January. And I was like, "Oh, you guys just like been pressing tab throughout this whole course."
And
So I
so,
was
so,
like, "I'll finish it out with Rep."
but so we were just discussing this before we started, and I want to make sure we did hit record, which we did. So your school is a virtual like hybrid situation or like
No, no. No, it's a fully in-person class. It's like it's a regular
How did you not see them clicking tab?
because like you just see the monitors like I'll kind of
Yeah,
show you the room like it's like I kind of have like a distant view of what they're doing,
sure.
right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And I just see code up on the screen. I'm like, all right, great, kids are loving it.
All right.
Um,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
they'll
that's
type some
fair.
of it. It's like, you got to start the thing. Like
Yeah,
they'll just like document.query and then it's like tab.
yeah, yeah. So you're saying it's document.query. So the students in what was Replit and now you're using Pickcode. So you do a lot of, is it all JavaScript stuff? Do you teach any Python or are you straight up doing like web development stuff?
Web development, right?
All web dev.
Um, and so I do AP computer science principles also, but I use like web development as the vehicle for that class.
Got it, got it. That's kind of tricky. Like to do, so you have a lot of document.query selector in your curriculum, I'm sure.
It's yeah, it drives kids crazy for like 2 months, but that's a lot of that, right?
Got it. So do you have background doing kind of like web development stuff? We never talked about this when I met you. I don't like how did you find yourself in the classroom teaching computer science?
So I was a geometry teacher for 10 years, like as a math guy. And then I just did this summer thing. It was this company called Upperline Code that would take like someone who knows how to code and a teacher and put them in a classroom with kids, because generally teachers aren't great at coding and coders aren't great at teaching. So they would pair them and they both learned the other person's skills. So I was like kind of teaching how to teach. They were teaching me how to code. And it was like the best summer of my life. Like kids weren't crying about doing math like
Yeah,
every day,
yeah, yeah.
they loved it. So like luckily the tech teacher at our school who was teaching like Microsoft Word and Excel retired that year. But I got back, I was like, I'll take that job and I'll
Oh,
teach
wow.
that.
Got it. So same school or different school?
Same school. Like,
Okay.
so it's totally. And then my only like real, like I'd say like practical coding was during the pandemic, everyone was trying to give tests, but they didn't want the questions to be the same. I was like, oh, you just need a question bank. There must be an application that does this. There's no question bank test giver application. So I made a website called jumble.at. And, like whenever you get the error, like that's why, like when I email you, there's an issue on your end. I've gotten so many like emails from users that are just, it's like there's such the smallest thing, but it make their lives easier. And it's like so insane. They'd be like 20 hours to code that thing that they're asking for.
Yeah.
So I have
So
to
do
be
you
careful with
so do
you.
you still run that site?
Yeah. Yeah.
No way. And do people pay for it?
No, I've made no money off of this.
Well, at least throw some ads on there or something. I don't know. I mean, uh,
Yeah. I
I don't.
learned this process that I'm very much not a business person. I respect you so much for being able to like move into like the
Well,
business.
I mean, so this is why we're doing this is that, I'm not good at marketing. I should have a growth mindset. I am learning how to market things a little bit better. And so what we need to do is take, happy teachers who are using the platform and talk to them and go on YouTube. I don't know how many views these videos are going to get though. I think it could be in the tens. Um,
I
but if
believe,
it got to
yeah,
the hundreds, that would be very good. We'll see what happens. So while we were talking about this before we hit record, so you actually publish videos on YouTube of screencasts of Pickcode. I just started finding these a couple weeks ago.
yeah. I mean, first of all, I teach my lessons on Pickcode. It's a live thing, but also then kids have questions about Pickcode, and it's always like the same question, like how do I add a file? How do I open the console? So I'll just record the video and send it out to the class, so I don't have to answer that question 47 times.
Now, did you notice when we made it so that you can resize the console?
You emailed me. I didn't notice.
Oh,
And I was like, yes,
yeah.
thank
I
you.
mean, so that's what we do, right? I just have this spreadsheet where I say like, here's everything that anyone has ever requested, and I sort it. And then when we actually finally do something, I sit there in Gmail and I search the latest thread that we've had about some other thing, and then I say like, hey, we now resize the console or whatever. So hopefully it's working relatively well. Also coming soon, just FYI. Currently, you cannot console log the result of document.query selector. I don't know if you've noticed that.
That literally was crashing today. That happened in today's class
No way.
for the
But so
first time.
it says like error cannot clone.
Yes, this is incredible. Like literally an hour ago.
Well, so I'd like to tell you that we will never be fixing that.
Okay.
No. I have a fix on GitHub. It's ready to go. I think it's going out this week actually.
Oh, that's great. Okay,
So
good.
it'll just like the Chrome console, it'll print the HTML string of what it was.
Can
Or
I mean, I don't want to take you too much time on this, but like, why was that an error? I'm so interested.
dive in. I don't know where these YouTube and I know you'll have to get back to class at some point, but we'll just talk. So we um gosh, how can I explain this in a way that for a general audience? When you do like when you get do the document.query selector, it's like a very complex object. So even if you were coding in Python or whatever, like you eventually get complicated objects that aren't just strings or numbers. They're like some instance of some class. And so because when you do document.query selector, you're like getting some image or some heading off of the page. The object that comes back isn't just a string. The object that comes back is like rather complicated. And then for security reasons, we like are sending the information back and forth between multiple iframes on the page. And the messages going back and forth between the iframes, it can't deal with that complicated of an object. So have you ever gone in and gone in the Chrome web tools for the web editor?
Yeah. Today, yes. Well, I was trying to figure out this issue. I was like, okay, let's check out the console here. And I was like,
Okay, yeah. Well, do you notice that in front of your HTML code, there's about 500 lines of JavaScript?
that I haven't looked at. No.
Okay, well, you can see it in the Chrome web tools, and it's like all of the stuff that we do to make this all work. Like, so we overwrite the console.log, we overwrite all sorts of stuff. We make it so that when you upload an image, it all of your image tags get transformed, like a bunch of stuff happens. And so like we are constantly having to add more and more to this to make it work. But so what I did basically is a little, to put it back more down to earth, it's like if the thing that we're trying to print is a document node, don't send that message. Send a message that's just the outer HTML string.
And done.
And that's it. Yeah. It was like actually like a two-line change. Um,
Web development's so fun.
so yeah, I mean it's interesting. You of all the teachers that we have, you are doing some folks get very complicated with the CSS stuff that they do. You're probably on the outer edge of most complicated on the JavaScript side. Yeah. So I mean, that's what happens when you buy a code set, like when you buy a subscription to some sort of code website, right? Is like um, there's always these limitations on the edge of the code sandbox that like make it complicated. And Replit was awesome, right? Like when I taught, I used Replit and it did everything. They had figured all of that out, right? By the time that people were using it in the last few years, but we've been slowly but surely working our way up. So maybe question, what are some things that used to work in Replit that you wish worked in Pickcode? Like things that we should be doing in the next 6 months to make your experience better.
There's really only two things on my mind, and I want to keep emphasizing like it does exactly what you need it to do. It doesn't do too much, right? Where like kids are getting confused with like extra buttons or anything. It doesn't do like too little. Like it does exactly what the only thing is debugging is so hard because you don't have a line, right? Like
Oh, the that's really hard. It's on there. Multiple people have requested it. We're gonna have to do it. So what you're describing is what you have a syntax error and it doesn't say what line.
right. So it's for me and the student, we're just kind of like, well, where is this thing not working? And we'll like
Have you emailed me about
lines.
that?
It might have been in an initial email. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we got to do that. I mean, basically what happens, right, is if like I talk to someone and then it makes me mad that it doesn't work, then all of a sudden the spreadsheet sorting goes differently. So there are folks right who do Python programming and there's folks who do Java and that kind of stuff. So we have to. It's always a balancing act of like, what are we going to add Java stuff today? Are we going to add Python stuff? Are we going to add web dev stuff? Web dev is the smallest fraction of people who use the site. So regardless, if you forget a parentheses, hopefully it should say the line number. Um, I would say we will get that done rather soon, and you will get an email when that happens.
Great. Yeah. And then I'll say this, the second one, which is so
Oh yeah,
small. I feel like you guys, right now, I can't delete the folders that you guys created. So I've made some folders instead of making a lesson, and then I can't get the folder out.
you can't delete it at all.
I don't think so. Am I wrong?
Is the folder empty?
Yes.
I'll have to go check on that. I don't have a notepad out, and I'm not going to switch tabs because I'm afraid of the Zoom recording. But we do. That should fix that. That should be like a one-liner. I don't know why that doesn't work.
Yeah, maybe I'm not seeing it right, but it doesn't have
I
like a
mean, so we don't let you delete a folder if there are things inside of it. But it sounds like yours are empty.
yeah, just like yeah. I clicked the wrong button. Now I have a folder. Can't get rid of it.
That's stupid. You should
That's,
make here's what you do. Make a folder called folders that I don't want, and then drag all of your stuff into that folder.
do I have but it's in a subfolder. So then can I
You
take
can subfolder.
so I could take something from a subfolder and bring it up to the main folder of folders I don't want.
Yeah, 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 of course. Yeah.
All right, I'll play around with that.
Okay, well, so we need to, I mean, this is also on my to-do list, right? So we wanted to do these YouTube videos where we talk to teachers. But then I also need to make some YouTube videos that like, because some of that stuff is a little bit subtle. Like the thing that you need to do in the interface to get a subfolder out is like actually kind of like it's a little bit tricky. You have to drag it right into the right spot. So I need to make a little bit of a YouTube video about that. But that's good feedback. I mean, well, you should be able to delete the folder. I mean, that's crazy. And so did your lights just turn off because
Yeah, I'm
they're
gonna like wave my hands around like a crazy person, just to, like get this 1 second.
that's fine.
All right, I'm back in.
And it's so cool. So did you design that thing behind you?
No, the principal of our school is a big tech nerd as well, so he
Oh,
made that.
that's cool. That's cool. Okay, and so then so how does your class work? So you say you because you have these YouTube videos that describe the lesson. So you will publish that video that describes the lesson, and then students are on Pickcode coding. Are they just like flipping back and forth between YouTube and your and Pickcode, or what are they
Yeah,
doing?
they'll do split screen or anything, but like generally, so I just want to say this. The reason for that is because it's hard to get a quorum, like all the kids in the room at the same time. They're seniors. They just like they have so many things going on.
They got it.
So if you're missing 4 kids, it's hard to do live lessons like that. But anyway, so they come in, I give them a general overview of what the day is, but then yes, they pull up a video and they code along with it, right? And then once they've completed that, that's basically their notes, right? And then I give them like the challenge of the day. That would be the lab.
Okay. So there's like the video is like a code along.
Right.
Got it. And then there's a related challenge,
Right,
and that's
exactly.
what they're assessed on.
Yes. So
Got
they're losing a lot of pick code. They're doing 2 pick codes a day.
it. 2 Pickcodes a day.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you have 2 lessons for every day, or do
Uh,
you
2 parts.
2 parts of the
Like,
same lesson, or
oh, you mean then? So there's like a lesson for each day, right? And then the related lab for that day.
got it? Okay, that's a lot of Pickcode. And so then you're able to go into the grading dashboard and flip through and see the stuff.
It's so easy. It's perfect. It's exactly like I'm telling you. Listen. I'm not a paid actor. I just want to put that out there. I was like, I envisioned something when REPL shut down, the REPL for Education, which was good, but it wasn't perfect. You still had to like click through each student, and like this solved issues that like I had trouble with REPL.
Okay,
Like,
but so you think that the things that were, I mean, again, you're not a paid actor, but you think the two things that were missing are the JavaScript error line numbers and the folder deleting, and then you're
yeah,
good.
perfect. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, like, you just have a reliable server. Like, I can't tell me how many days on Glitch or REPL that like I couldn't teach for a day because they just like were offline. Like, there's never been a day like that.
I will, so this is a little pick code inside baseball because you seem interested, so we'll just talk about it. And I don't know the purpose of these YouTube videos, but a little behind the scenes. So we have for a while, I was terrified that the website would go down. At the very beginning of the year, we had a lot more students than we'd ever had before. So we were completely, like, we were online for all of the 23-24 school year. There's one company, and I think I'll talk to them on this YouTube channel. But whatever, they iframe Pickcode in as part of their curriculum. So like they have lessons and then we sync the stuff with them. And so we were live for all of 23-24 with however many students they had. And then Replit deleted everybody's stuff. And so then a bunch of people came to us from Replit And so there were some days in the beginning of the school year where I was like terrified. Like the site was slightly going down. The worst thing we had, there was a full outage for like 11 minutes. Um, and immediately I got like four emails and I'm like, I'm sorry, I restarted the server, like it's coming back up. And then they were all like, oh, no worries.
That's great. Okay, so you're editing this, right? So I could just ask like dork questions at this point.
I don't care. I probably won't. I'm not going to iMovie. I don't, it makes me mad. So I'll probably just keep it in.
Okay, well, you can pass on this then. But can you speculate why Glitch and REPL, these two major ones, are so frequently down?
Um, I mean, they have a lot more, to their credit, they have a lot more users than we do. On a given day, we have some thousands of users online.
Mhm.
And Replit's probably on a daily basis probably has a few 100,000 on. Like those are different problems. I mean, I think we're kind of clever. I think we have like a fairly good setup. But yeah, I mean, it's like I think it's a lot of scale issues. But I don't know. I mean, to our credit, like right, we doubled or tripled our thing, and then it's like, oh, well, now it's not working. Replit and Glitch aren't doubling and tripling every day, so you'd think they would figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand the inner workings, but
I mean, also we're a small business, right? So like, if the site goes down, the person who gets emailed is me. So I have a strong motivation to make sure that the website doesn't go down, so that like 50 people don't email me all being like, "Where's the website? I need the website right now." So, um, but in September, I was paranoid enough about the website going down that we now have a cloud job thing that logs into the website, runs some code, edits the code, runs it again every 10 minutes during the school day.
so great.
Yeah.
That's clever.
Yeah. And so and then if it fails, both me and then Colin's the other co-founder, I guess what you call him. Um, Colin and I both get a phone call, email, and text message if it fails.
Is that during business hours or is that 24 hours a day?
It logs in every 10 it logs in every 10 minutes during the school day. And the school day also counts like Pacific time. So from like 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. or so Eastern time, it's every 10 minutes log me in. And then overnight, it's like once every half hour. Homework is a little bit less important, but like we do get phone calls in the middle of the night every once in a while because something times out or whatever.
Wow, that's great. That's so good.
This is again, now we're just having fun. I saw you turned around. The computer lab was all Macs, so hopefully you're a Mac person.
Hmm.
We get billed our bill for the thing that runs every 10 minutes. It started kind of racking up. We added some more tests and everything. It's like 50 or $60 a month. I went down to the computer store and bought a Mac Mini that will now, we haven't set it up fully yet, but that will be running those tests. So there'll be a little computer sitting without a monitor attached at my desk. That'll be the one logging in and doing all the tests. It's actually going to save us a ton of money.
That's great. It's just pinging the server on its own. That's it.
There's some technology for like web testing where like it logs in like a as though it was a person. And so there's this one user account that we have, tester at pickcode.io, that's logged in like 13,000 times this year. Um, so I don't know when we're going to hit the limit on that, but we'll figure that out. Um, all right. Well, that's a lot of Pickcode inside baseball. I don't know. Do you have any other questions about Pickcode, or I don't know what questions I have for you. I mean, it sounds like we know what we need to do to make your life better.
Yeah, and also I've just say like keep it simple. Like I can't believe like it's perfect. Like please don't add AI. I know everyone's doing it, but just like
No,
don't.
we're not doing because it's like yeah, we're not doing AI. If you like, for what it's worth, right? If you wanted to, I think it would be a cool project, and I've tried it out a couple times. If you, as the teacher, wanted to make lessons more quickly, or like wanted to brainstorm some lessons or come up with some creative stuff, you could go on to ChatGPT and just paste the stuff into Pickcode and give that to the students. So it's not like you like can't. AI is cool. It's not like you can't use it with Pickcode. You just need to copy paste the stuff in if you want to make a cool lesson with AI.
Right, totally.
So
Uh,
that's our AI stance is like it's probably pretty useful for teachers actually, but just go on your ChatGPT website that already exists. Like I'm not gonna add a button for it.
yeah, no, I was just so appalled by that REPL thing where they like, added AI behind my back.
I know. I felt bad. Like I'm still friends with plenty of teachers, and so like I knew that that was happening to them, and I was like, because I started working on Pickcode full time almost 2 years ago now, and if I had been in the classroom that day, I would have been so mad. Um, tough stuff.
Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, their grades were great. They all got A's in computer science for a year. It's not the end of the world,
Yeah, I mean, and so I guess maybe last question, I guess. So CSP, they're doing like the create task, right?
right? Hmm.
So what is the coolest, man, maybe I'm putting you on the spot, so if you can't think of something, what's the coolest thing that you've seen a student make in Pickcode to date? Or like the coolest, maybe the most fun assignment that you've run, or like when did you guys have the most fun using it?
I mean, the grade test was the most fun. That's when the kids are really, it's like, it's very wide open. It's like make whatever you want. I will say I don't personally love these apps because I don't do it, but like they all love what they've made, which is these like anime suggestion apps where it's like, do you want, I don't even know enough about anime, but they're like, which do you want a male character and like what's it called? I can't even the different themes. And it'll generate like which show to watch and like who your favorite character is going to be. And they just love the amount of options they've created and like much time curating the content for this is just insane. Because the create tag for APCSP is like it's like a 10-minute, I mean, sorry, 10-second video should capture what they do. They go so above and beyond.
That's cool. That's cool. And so these are seniors.
Yes, these are the seniors.
Yeah, and that's cool. I mean, and they can kind of go and run with it, right? It kind of depends on what age range you're working with, but that's
Yeah.
cool. So we just in Pickcode, there's 100 project, not 100, but however many students you have, a bunch of just anime show suggesters.
So many anime show suggestions. So if you ever need a suggestion,
All right. Well, I'll have to have someone share one with me, and we'll take a look. All right. Well, we're at time. I know you have to get back to class and stuff soon, but any parting thoughts? I don't know. You've been super nice, and I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out.
yeah, no parts. Like I keep saying to you, it's like a great platform. I'm not a paid actor. It's amazing what it does.
Well, we'll try and keep it up, and if the website does go down, we'll get the phone call. We'll get it back up for you. And I will literally follow up. I'll keep you posted on the JavaScript error lines and the folder thing. The folder thing is crazy, and that needs to be fixed ASAP because that's like got to be a one-line change.
Could be user error. Like let's not like jump to conclusion. It could be me, but I don't think maybe.
I don't think it's you. I think something must have gotten in there. So we'll work that out. Anyways, so I'm gonna pause the recording and then I'll double say thank you. So to YouTube, goodbye, and let's see. I'm gonna hit stop now.